Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 6. So later this week we have episode 21 of Arrow Season 6, which looks like it will be pretty damn sick, with Tommy Merlin returning to the show, sort of. And with Oliver starting this fight for his freedom against the unfair charges put against him by Ricardo Diaz in the city of Star City. This is the third last episode of the season, but there will be much more happening in this season than just Oliver facing jail time, and that's what we will be going over in the rest of this video. So in this video we will be going over some spoilers from the finale of this season of Arrow, which is otherwise entitled Life Sentence, which will definitely have a lot to do with what we go over in this video. But yeah, this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise as to what I'm going to say here, so do not continue watching this video if you don't want to know any of these spoilers. Just repeating that, so yeah. Now, this doesn't reveal everything that is happening in the finale, but does reveal some fairly big moments, including a death for the season. But before we get into anything else, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and opinions on what I go over in this video. I'm very interested to see what everyone has to say. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome if you could leave a like on it to show your support and subscribe to the channel if you're new. So the first piece of information we will be going over in this video comes from Canada Graphs, who we have used in the past. I will leave the link for their blog in the description down below, which contains more images and info than what I go over in the video. So yeah, if you want to see more, be sure to go check them out. But this is what they were able to note about certain parts of the finale for this season. A scene was filmed at SCPD, or Star City Police Department, with the characters of Oliver Queen, William Clayton, Felicity Smoke, and FBI agent Samandra Watson. So yes, she is back for, I think, episode 22 and 23 of this season. Like, she could be in episode 21, but I'm not 100% sure there, but I'm pretty sure she's in 22 and the finale. Along with those characters were a bunch of media and like FBI and US Marshal members, but I don't know if they're going to be too big of a role there. The scene played out with the FBI leading Oliver out in handcuffs with awaiting media there. Oliver makes a brief statement before being hauled away while William and Felicity follow behind. It is important to note that this scene was the last scene filmed with Felicity for this season. Later that night, when they were filming that first scene, another scene was shot. Nothing as shocking, I guess you could say, as the one we just mentioned, but it was the last shot that Stephen Amell had for this season, and it was with an actor that many do believe is leaving the show based on things that have been set up this season. So Stephen shot his last scene with Paul Blackthorne, who plays Quentin Lance, and Quentin was talking to Ricardo Diaz in this scene while Oliver watched on. Of course, the suspicion has been for a while that Quentin might be getting the big, send-off due to the fact the show has to sort of, cut some stuff away from the show due to, maybe negotiating to get some stuff for season 7 or, upgrade some people and get them on better contracts and stuff. It cannot be said for sure that he was killed off, but going by this tweet from Stephen, as well as this photo from Paul Blackthorne, things aren't looking very good for the survival of Quentin this season. Katie Lotz, who plays Sarah Lance, was also in Vancouver for only one day to shoot, I think it was 2 scenes, which were both inside the hospital. We knew Katie Lotz was coming back for the finale as Sarah, that is no surprise. They released like a media statement on that a month or so ago. I think it was around the Legends finale that they announced it. But Katie Cassidy did post this photo of her and Katie Lotz on set when she was there for that one day of filming. Seeing that this is in the hospital, this once again doesn't bode well for our old mate Quentin surviving this season. Personally, I like Quentin, I always have. Paul Blackthorne, for me, at least, is the best actor on the show. Whenever he gets the time to shine, he really shines. But his character should have really been the one to die in season 4, not Laurel's character. Like, he should have been the one to die for going against Damien Darhk, not Laurel. This season, they seem to be doing a similar storyline that we saw in season 4, but swapping around Quentin and Laurel. So instead of in season 4 it being Quentin and Damien Darhk, in this season it's Laurel and Ricardo Diaz. So it does seem that Diaz will kill Quentin, which is sad to think about, but it does look like this could be the full-on pusher, if that's a word, for Laurel into being on the side of good and moving closer to being fully redeemed. I am really intrigued to see the interactions between Sarah and Black Siren as well, like how that, will all go down. Can't wait to see how that, goes down. But now let's move on to some other stuff that wasn't in the Canada Graphs post that have been said about the goings-on in the finale and what it means going into next season, some of which get you thinking about stuff that has been set up this season as well as already announced for next season. So as I said earlier from the Canada Graphs blog post, Oliver is taken away by the FBI in handcuffs, with William and Felicity looking on as this goes down. Now this scene will be broadcasted on TV thanks to various members of the media being there, but what about the others on the show? Where are they? Well, when this happens, new Team Arrow, so Renee, Curtis, and Dinah, we'll see it all going down on live TV, like we saw at the end of last episode when it was announced that Oliver, would be facing trial. So they will all be watching this in, I think it was said that it was Renee's apartment that they will be watching it in. So new Team Arrow will still be in next season. They aren't going anywhere. And at this point in the season, Diggle is still at Argus by the looks of it, as he will see Oliver being arrested and led away by the FBI on a TV, like new Team Arrow, but at the Argus headquarters. But I guess the big question is, where is Oliver being taken to? Is it Iron Heights? Is he going there? Is he going to be hanging out with some familiar faces over there that we've seen on both Arrow and The Flash? Is that where he's going? Well, no, he is actually heading somewhere else, and that place is actually going to be Slabside Maximum Security Prison, which is from the comics. That's in DC Comics, but is otherwise known simply as the Slab in some iterations. The last shot of this season, which is the big cliffhanger and the last image that we will have of Arrow until October later this year, when season 7 starts, will be Oliver being placed into a cell at Slabside. Slabside, or the Slab, has been mentioned previously in the Arrowverse only once, I think, and that was back in season 4, and was where Damien Dark's totem was placed before he got it. So you remember in the flashbacks in season 4, like on the island and whatever that dude's name was, and there was that girl, when Argus came in and got the totem, and that's how Oliver ended up back up in Russia. That totem from season 4's flashbacks got taken to the Slab, was in there, and then Damien Dark got it some way, and that ended up being in the present day of season 4. So the Slab has been mentioned once, I'm pretty sure, in the Arrowverse, but that's it. In the comics, however, Slabside is actually built for metahumans from what I remember, so it is pretty damn secure. But also, this is actually a really cool fun fact, and a lot of people have mentioned this about how this could lead into season 7. They could pay like an homage and just nod to this movie. But around 10 years ago or so, a Green Arrow movie was actually in the works called Escape from Supermax, and the prison that was going to be used in that movie was rumored to be the Slab or Slabside. So this could be the show's nod to that, and just saying, look, this thing died and we'll never be able to, bring it to the big screen. So maybe, at the beginning of season 7, we could show something like that. So the plot of that movie was essentially, Green Arrow gets locked up for something that, maybe he did or didn't do. I can't really remember the general plot in regards to how he ends up there, but essentially he works with all these supervillains and stuff to escape. So he's working with Lex Luthor, I think the Penguin, Riddler, all these different villains, mainly Batman villains, I think, from what I remember, but all these different villains to escape from Supermax. So they could do that maybe at the beginning of next season. Maybe there's some other villains in there, some recognizable ones, and maybe Oliver works with them, to escape. But this all leads into what happens in season 7. How can we have an Arrow show without, the Green Arrow if he's locked up? Well, we know that Roy Harper is showing up next season. He is a series regular for next season. So what I think is going to happen is that Oliver is going to break out. There actually is going to be like a mini Escape from Supermax storyline to begin off season 7, and Oliver's going to run off to Roy, and he's going to hide. He's going to have to disguise himself. I think we are going to see Oliver with the the goatee, different haircut and stuff for season 7 of Arrow, which will be really cool because he can't go around looking like Oliver Queen because he's a escaped convict. So people are going to be looking for him. But if he's hiding away with Roy Harper, not even hiding away, but just disguised and working with Roy Harper in the background, that would be really cool. And I think it's what I really want to see, just like basically Green Arrow and Arsenal working together. One thing that people aren't sure about, going by people that have seen the shooting of this season and stuff like that, people aren't sure whether Ricardo Diaz dies. I think that the common theory, and I think one thing that a lot of people are sort of getting at from this season, and maybe why Ricardo Diaz was introduced late and took a while for him to really make himself stand out, was because he's not going to die at the end of the season. He's going to continue on into season 7. So maybe he's going to stay around, and his story was the setup for the Quadrant. We've had the Quadrant introduced in the past couple of episodes, and it seems like they're really trying to focus on that. Now, the Quadrant had a member known as Cyrus Broderick. Now, I mentioned in my review from last week, or the last episode, might I say, that Cyrus Broderick in the comics is a fairly big thing in Green Arrow, because he's like, in the new run with the DC Rebirth, he's like the CFO of Queen Industries, but also a high-up member of the Ninth Circle, which is like this criminal organization. So it looks like they're changing the Ninth Circle into the Quadrant just to keep it a bit smaller. So I think that's what they're going to do, and that's why they've just sort of introduced the Quadrant late and just sort of setting it up. Almost like with Damien Dark at the end of Season 3, they mentioned him a couple of times to set him up for Season 4. Now, another member of the Quadrant was Lydia Casamento. Now, she could be the daughter or maybe sister of Santo Casamento, who in the comics is one of the big boys in the mafia throughout Gotham. Also, I think it was before the New 52 or something, he was the biological father of Helena Bertinelli, aka the Huntress. Will that happen on the show? Most likely not. But the fact that they did use the last name of Casamento makes me think that the Quadrant's going to be something. It's going to involve other people. Maybe she's just a representative for that segment of the Quadrant for now. But I'm looking forward to it if this is the case. If they've done this to set up, and more the end of this season is really the downfall of Oliver Queen and the downfall of the Green Arrow to set him up for season 7 as some form of like rebirth, if you really want to call it, for the character. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the video to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below if you are confused about anything, because I know there was a lot to intake here and I might have rambled on for a bit. But if you are still confused about anything, let me know in the comments section down below and I'll try to get back to you. As I said, do hit up that Canada Graphs link and look at more of the stuff that's posted there, because I didn't go over everything, so go check it out. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.